Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood. You are watching the Political Vigilante Progressive Comedy Tour. We're coming to the East Coast next month, June 12th through the 19th. DC, Baltimore, 2 nights in Philly, New Haven, Connecticut, New York City, and Boston. Get your tickets at grahamelwood.com. Look at the nice lighting, guys. Fancy, sexy lighting. That's what I want to do. I want to be the sexiest independent progressive media person on YouTube. That's my goal. That's my goal. So what are you doing, guys? You're supporting the Political Vigilante. You're making Gotham great again. A great way to support the show is go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. I'm putting all the videos up there so you get them ad-free for $10 a month. You get access to everybody who's on Rockfin, all the creators, the content creators, premium content. And if you go through my page, you're helping support me because I get like residual income, which is a cool thing. You can also go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood and submit articles like Tim Stack has done. Tim Stack has been a supporter of the show since day one, Tim. Really appreciate the stuff you send me. You send me very interesting stuff like this. Pentagon's long con. This is from William Astore. So William Astore, by the way, this is from Tom Dispatch. He is ex-Air Force officer. So he's been in the military industrial complex, and now he's being highly, highly critical of it. This is important. When someone within, this is what we need. And some of you have come up to me after shows and say, oh, Graham, well, I work for this defense contractor, I work for the oil lobby, or I work for the private prisons or whatever. And I'm always like, don't feel bad. You know what you could do? Quietly give out some information. Don't get fired or get yourselves in trouble, but make change from within. Because this guy has so much access and to information, knows how it's really so you gotta believe what he's having to say. And it talks about how, it's critical of Trump, but it basically, this whole article that's in the show notes is critical of Trump, obviously, but it shows how the Pentagon has been doing this for decades. And that's why he calls it the long con. So we're going to get into it. When the president's long-delayed infrastructure plan finally made it to Congress 2 years late, it disappeared without a trace. Remember that on his campaign trail? Trump was like, infrastructure, I'm going to fix this country. The Pentagon comes in and goes, no, you're not. We need that money. No, you're not. You're not going to fix the infrastructure. If we're fixing the infrastructure, we don't have time and money to go bomb poor countries for their resources. So it's not like we can have... And as we've learned from MMT, we could have both if we wanted to. We shouldn't be spending all this money on military because it's morally wrong. Meanwhile, the country's roads, rail networks, dams, schools, and so on are in increasingly poor shape. In reality, the only infrastructure built up is the Pentagon's. What? Remember now, this is always worth repeating and talking about. Go back before Trump even announced he was running for president. Look at his tweets in 2012 and 2013, critical of Obama. Why are we in Afghanistan? Why are we in Syria? Why are we allies with Saudi Arabia? On and on and on and on. He said that repeatedly in his tweets. Then he ran a campaign that was anti-interventionist. But I don't know if they threatened Trump or he's probably easily swayed. They come in and, oh, now you got to go to Syria. Okay, I guess I got to do it. If we're going to lose this, they sat him down and, hey, Donnie, if we cut off Syria, then they're not going to buy $100 billion of weapons from us every year. Ooh, that's bad for business because, he's Mr. Business Deals. So he's gone against all of his anti-interventionism. And now the generals and everything want him to go to war in Iran and Venezuela. And Johnny Bolton, that clown, who always looks like he just came from a Mark Twain cosplay, is pushing for it hard. Right? So Trump is easily swayed. Easily swayed. And if you voted for him, he's gone against the things that you voted for already. $1.5 trillion bailout to rich people. He's invading all these countries he said he wouldn't. He's not helping the working man, and he's not building the infrastructure. Where is the infrastructure? All we're talking about is Iran and Venezuela and Syria and all this stuff. I thought we were going to have this big infrastructure thing. We haven't. And this, William Astore goes into how they took ownership of Donald Trump. But how they've been doing it for decades. I mean, this is the thing, you know, JFK was like, man, these generals, like when he first took office, there was the Cuban Missile Crisis. There was the Bay of Pigs, basically, before the Cuban Missile Crisis. And the generals wanted to invade. They wanted to invade. And he was like, he would confide in people, JFK would say, man, if I don't do this, the generals are going to have me killed. They're going to take over. The war machine. It's the thing Eisenhower warned against, the military-industrial complex. So we're going to... This is what they do. From the beginning of the Cold War to late last night, they've remained remarkably skilled at exaggerating the threats the U.S. faces, and believe me, that represents the longest con of all, right? It's kept the military-industrial complex humming along thanks to countless trillions of taxpayer dollars, while attempts to focus a spotlight on the scam that have been largely discredited or ignored. Anytime somebody brings this up, they're discredited or ignored. So when you scream Russia, 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 like Rachel Maddow does, and then you get segments on your show that are sponsored by Boeing. That's what Rachel Maddow gets. See? If she was like, why are we spending this money? Why did Obama bomb all these people? Why does Trump? If she wouldn't, she would be out of a job. She would be out of a job. All of them. Because anytime somebody has done that, they've been fired. Right? They've been fired. Ed Schultz, Phil Donahue, they're fired. Gone. They only bring you back in when you get your mind right. The U.S. spends staggering sums annually, essentially stolen from a domestic economy and infrastructure that's fraying at the seams, on what still passes for defense. The result, botched wars in distant lands that have little, if anything, to do with true defense, but which the Pentagon uses to justify yet more funding, often in the name of rebuilding or depleted military. This is what they do. They hyped up the threats of the Soviet Union. They've hyped up the threats of everybody, of Al-Qaeda, of ISIS, of the Viet Cong, of you name it. North Korea. They've been doing this for decades. Even before then, if you read Smedley Butler's book, War is a Racket, he started doing it in the late 1800s. We did it in World War I. This country did not want to get into World War I. It was literally called Wall Street's War. And President Woodrow Wilson hired George Creel to they created the Creel Commission. His job was to market World War I to the American people. The song over there was written. It was a marketing jingle, just like a Coke ad's life, just like an advertising jingle. That's what, over there, send the word, over there. Isn't that a catchy tune? The Yanks are coming, yay, war, 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 Wall Street profits while working class kids die. Yay, yay, war, war. That's what they did. They made movies and they seemed to threat the Kaiser. So I was like, they're going to come get us here. We fight these wars overseas so they don't come here. No. We create problems so we can get resources from countries that won't give them to us. Why aren't we invading? If these dictators are so brutal, look at what the president of France is doing, Macron. Look what he's doing. Every weekend he's gassing, he's beating people, he's jailing people. He's out of control. Why is he not a dictator that's out of control? Why aren't we overthrowing France? Oh, they're our ally. And they help bomb things and kill people just like we do. Right, great, perfect. So many lies, so little time is a phrase that comes to mind when I think of the 40 years I've spent up close and personal with the United States military, half on active duty as an Air Force officer. Where to begin? How about with those bomber and missile gaps, those alleged shortfalls vis-a-vis a Soviet Union in the 50s and 60s? We can't have a gap. Remember that? If you're my age or older, I remember hearing that as a kid in the 70s, that the Russians, they got more bombs. That was what Reagan ran on. Jimmy Carter, that soft Democrat, didn't build up our army. Reagan came in there to really stick it to the Soviets, Brezhnev and the gang. So we needed to spend more on military. Ask yourself, every time there's some new bomber, some new war, ask yourself, how many schools would this build? How many roads would this build? Go find the roads and the infrastructure in your town where you live in America, and then go ask your friends and family that, where's this? Do me a favor. Take photos. Show some crumbling infrastructure in whatever town you live in and put it on your social media. And say, where's the money for this? We want to go to war in Iran and Venezuela, and we want to bomb Syria again. List the cost of the bombs. It's all on the internet. And then say, one of these bombs that they dropped could fix this fill-in-the-blank infrastructure problem that you have. I guarantee you, if you live in America, you have some infrastructure that needs help. I guarantee it, wherever you live. Take photos, put that on your social media. Get that conversation going. See, the CIA and the warmongering assholes that run everything are very effective at writing something in some horrifying think tank and getting it out there, and then one of your friends or family repeats it to you. That's how effective they are. So I want you to start getting the how are we going to pay for the war? Why don't we spend the money? Get that out there everywhere. I want all of you to do that. You're all political vigilantes who do that. Take photos of crumbling infrastructure, a bridge, or whatever, a school, anything, and say, where's the money for this? Why don't we stop bombing the Middle East and have money for this? If Trump's all about making America great again, why don't we spend the money here? And let me tell you something, Joe Biden is going to keep the bomb machine going too. So will Kamala Harris. So will Elizabeth Warren. I don't trust her at all. Fake progressive, but a real Native American that never went to Standing Rock. Weird. Here's an excerpt too from his... I want to read this. This is a direct excerpt from this article. It matters what you do at war. It matters, this was actually from a woman that was a writer for the Los Angeles Times that was embedded in the war in Iraq. And this is what she writes. I want to read this to you. It matters what you do at war. It matters more than ever. It matters more than you ever want to know, because countries, like people, have collective consciousness and memories and souls, and the violence we deliver in the name of our nation is pooled like sickly tar at the bottom of who we are. The soldiers who don't die for us come home again. They bring with them the killers they became on our national behalf and sit with their polluted memories and broken emotions in our homes and schools and temples. We may wish it were not so, but action amounts to identity. We become what we do. All of that poison seeps back into our soul. It's the thing I've been talking about. There's no anti-war movement on the left. Where the fuck is it? I've said before on this show and on the Jimmy Dore show. Because war is just this, and we act like it, but this is so true. It seeps into our souls. We don't have an anti-war movement. When neoliberal friends of mine say, well, Trump, he had to bomb Syria. You saw the chemical attacks. We're so indoctrinated into war. We got to go to war. There's war everywhere. All these vets coming back with all their PTSD, they're in every aspect of, they're all in all of our lives. 22 vets a day commit suicide. These images of bombing everywhere. It's everywhere. And we don't even see how horrifying it is. The soul of this country is gone. Constant war, bombing, blow them up, kill them. People on the left, we got to go to war. I hear people on the left, they want to go kill all these deplorable Trump supporters. Okay, I mean, if you want a civil war, that'll be fun. That'll be fun for everybody. Because this is how bad it is. Because war has been turned in to like, I'm going to play you something. You're going to think it's like a telecommunications, cool technology. No. It's Raytheon. Look at the fun bright lights.
We see these beautiful pictures at night from the decks of these two U.S. Navy vessels.
That's beautiful. Brian Williams thinks that's beautiful. Again, tell me, find out how much one of these costs. I guarantee you it could fix probably whatever infrastructure problem you have in your town. I bet you it could. Your kids' schools don't have enough supplies. They don't have enough sports teams. There's no money for the arts programs at your kids' school. That could pay for it. That's an art class. That's uniforms for learning team sports and team responsibility. That's what that is. There's a new bridge, everybody. There's a new bridge. There's hospital. Oh, there's housing for the poor. Oh, there's a homeless shelter. There's a drug rehab center.
I am tempted to quote the great Leonard Cohen, I'm guided by the beauty of our weapons.
We are one global team,
creating trusted, innovative solutions
to make the world a safer place.
If I didn't know what Raytheon was...
And they are beautiful pictures of fearsome armaments making what is for them a brief flight over to this airfield.
Mission success is confirmed. The proven Block 4 weapon system with an advanced suite of sensor technologies, data link, and multi-effect warhead make Raytheon's Tomahawk Block 4 a true multi-mission capable weapon of choice.
There's your high-speed rail. There's drinkable water in Flint, Michigan, or any of the other 3,000 cities that have contaminated water. Ask this question on all of your social media, so all your friends and family can ask this question. Why do we have money for that, but we don't have money for a swimming pool, after-school programs, healthy school lunches? There's your kid's future right there, guys. In a weapon-guided system. Good for any war type. It sounds like it's talking about a cell phone. Oh, the new Samsung can take photos, and oh, look at that. Oh, isn't this cool? You can do emojis, and oh, look at that. Isn't that great? Thanks for watching the show, everybody. I'm going to call it. I'm going to report on it in a way that the corporate media will not. And because you support me, I get to do stories like this. Thank you, Tim Stack, for bringing me this story. Thank you to all the Patreon supporters. And you know what you get to do? You get to support me too. For as little as $5 a month on Patreon, you get bonus content. You get early access to stuff for $5 a month. Thanks for watching.